Hi guys, welcome to Between Two Palms. We are here talking about all sorts of things that we want to know. You guys have sent in a bunch of questions. We have some of our own questions and we're sending them out to some of our favorite people to see what they have to say. So, without further ado, I am welcoming my very favorite person in the whole world, my very best friend, ride or die, Amanda Feldman.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. So, I picked you because what I first didn't like about you was how loud and you just preached your mind, and I found it really aggressive, and then that was the thing that made me fall in love with you.
Sure, I'm an acquired taste, yes.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
I understand.
True. So you have had this ability to bring that out in me, to make me be able to be more comfortable saying how it is, and you have the ability to do that, and I think that that is something that a lot of people don't do. They just save face. So without further ado, I want you to pick a question. I picked these. Knowing what I know about you, we have been around the world how many times?
A few.
A few. You have been the person that's gotten me out of a lot of trouble, maybe into a lot of trouble.
Love that.
And you are also the person that would call me and say, like, hey, I'm working at UB. Do you know you have to register for classes this week? So I love you for everything that you are, and you are my favorite person, and you're the only person that makes me laugh the way that you do.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. Pick a question.
Okay.
Talk about some stuff.
All right, let's see what's good here. Oh my God. Loaded question. I read it out loud?
Yeah, read it out loud.
How do you think you know when you've found the one? Okay. So I feel like we were recently talking about, there was like this meme that it was like, don't pick the guy that's the life of the party, but the guy that takes the life of the party home. And literally, did you send that to me?
No, you sent that to me.
So that pretty much sums up like how you know, in my opinion. I think one thing we've always talked about is like somebody who just lets you be unapologetically yourself.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, speaking from my personal experience with my person who like just never makes you feel bad for who you are, never makes you feel guilty for like just being an absolute insane human being that's like actually out of their mind, but they like love that the most about you. And just somebody who is just always there for you no matter what, and you just never have to apologize for who you are. So I think that like when you know you found the one, you just never have to like be a pretender or a faker or somebody who is like trying to prove themselves to somebody constantly, but just like a genuine, like cool, like I know it's 2 p.m. and it's Sunday, my friends and I have blackout, we all need a ride home, and somebody lives like an hour away, so like when can you be here? Because like I'm counting on you to like do that. And they literally pick you up with a smile and then like are like, do you guys need tacos? And then they like take you to get tacos and then takes everybody home. So that's like how I feel like you would know.
Yeah.
Because So
I saw this meme that said, to every girl out there, my ex-boyfriend used to make me wonder if I was good enough, and my current boyfriend just picked me up drunk from the bar with McDonald's in the passenger seat, said, I love you, babe, you're so hot, there's french fries over there.
Literally. Or like pulls up to the ETS drive-thru and like actually knows your order like verbatim by heart, and is like, I'm assuming you're gonna need tacos because that's what we do now. And this is what you want because we already know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that.
I love that too.
That's true.
I remember when we were walking through Athens, and I made you talk about all the things that I needed to know, and I on the low recorded you, and I listened to that video so many times, and you just talked over and over, and you just kept saying the one thing: you'll know because you won't have to stop being yourself. Like you said, you'll be 100% of yourself 100% of the time.
That's literally, I think that there's just so much in our society where people are just constantly trying to prove themselves constantly to everybody, like their friends, their work, their significant other, just in general, like social media. And I just think that there's so much going on with people where they just feel like they constantly have to like prove themselves. And I think like, especially when looking for a relationship, like it just doesn't make sense. It's not going to be like longevity. Like the person is just going to have to just love you for who you are and like everything about you and your imperfections. So I think that's one thing like I've always told you is that you'll never have to feel like you have to be anybody else when you find like your person. And I think like I'm excited because I feel like you're finally experiencing that. And I love that for you because I think you especially just need somebody who's just going to like be chill and like love you for who you are. And like, this is me and this is who I am and I'm not changing for you. And it's either like take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
I love that. All right.
Next one.
Next one.
What do you look for in a friend and what do you look for in a partner? So in a friend, I think consistency. I think for a partner and friend is key. So somebody who is always just going to be there. So like if you need to call someone because you like picked up your new shirt and then you ironed it and you put a hole in it and like no one's going to understand or care about that situation except for you, like I need to be able to call you about that.
Just a random example.
Because, like, sometimes that ruins your day. And, like, sometimes you needed to wear that shirt and you need someone to understand.
I get it. I got it.
And so I think that that's super important. Just like somebody that's, like, on your level. And I think that the partner thing kind of goes hand in hand because I think your partner should also be your best friend. So somebody who is always going to pick up the phone when you need them. Somebody who just gets you. So when you say, like, I just don't want to talk to anybody for 3 weeks, they're like, that's cool, call me when you're ready, or whatever you need to do. If you need to like randomly like take a trip around the world for a year and it's like you're gonna come and like this is where you're going and you need someone that's like gonna want to do that with you.
Like it's incredible to me that you found someone that you said, hey, listen, in 3 years I'm leaving for a year, and then you did and they were like, okay, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, like I just think that now more than ever it's just important to have people whose like values align with yours, especially like just somebody who just gets it. And I think like one of your like biggest saying is like surround yourself with people who get it. And I think that that's just so important. So like, yeah, with Dan, like just literally when I met him on our first date, my mom was like, don't tell him that you're leaving the country because that's not really a plan. You're not going to really do that. I know you're not going to do that. And I was like, cool, yeah, I am. And being like on my first date with Dan after like 4 glasses of wine, I'm like, by the way, I just want you to know that like I'm leaving the country in like 3 years for like a year or so potentially. And he was like, cool, like whatever you got to do. And like also he knows that like when I say something, I mean it. And I think like that's super important, like in a friend or in a partner that like they believe in you and they believe in like the things that you say that you're gonna do because they know who you are as a person. So I think that, yeah, I think the friend thing as we get older is really hard because you find out as you get older, like people suck.
I think it's something that you have that I've always asked you, how do you have so much patience with people? And you have said radical acceptance.
Like literally you just have to accept people for face value for what they are. I think like expectations get in the way a lot. And I think if you just put that aside and just accept people for what they are and who they are to you and just love them anyway. Yeah. I don't know, that's kind of what I find is like, that's what I'm looking for. Because I don't want to explain myself to anybody at this point in my life. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. You like me or don't.
Yeah. Take it or leave it. Like me or don't.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Pick another one.
Sorry for anyone who's listening. Just, if I've been mean to you. It's
fine.
It's because I don't care. Just kidding.
But not really.
Just kidding. I love you. What's one thing that people would never know about you just by looking at you? Oof. This is heavy. There's a lot. Oh my gosh.
You can go any direction with this.
What's one thing that people would never know about you just by looking at you?
Or what's something you'd want people to know about you?
So I think like one of the biggest things in my life is that my grandparents are Holocaust survivors and they both survived Auschwitz for 4 years, and that has definitely shaped like how I live my life and just I think my giving nature in general and just maybe the over empathetic view that I take on like humanity in general. Just always wanting to do more for others than I would do for myself. So I think that's one thing I would want people to know. Also just because like racism is real and like I don't have tolerance for that. Yeah. So I think just that in general is kind of a big statement. And that's definitely shaped like how I live my life. And so I think that's like one thing that people wouldn't know or expect, and a big part of history that I value and honor all the time and every day and everything that I do. It's definitely shaped like choices I've made in my life, how I treat people.
Comes into every part of who you are.
So I think that like kindness is something that is everyone has been preaching, just be kind. Like that's literally your brand, is just to be kind. And I think that a lot of the experiences that I've had with the family that I come from have just kind of instilled this different kind of kindness in me, like this kind of kindness where when I see something bad happening to someone else, I would rather take that on because I know that I can handle it than watch like them like go through like whatever situation that they're going through. So all these things that are happening like in modern day times right now are like, I think, just affecting me on a different level because of the things that I've witnessed like my family go through or known that my family has gone through. And I think that right now the world in general just kind of lacks this like patience just with mankind in general, and just all the things that you see, like not even just with like human beings but with animals, and just the way that people treat like the earth with everything that goes on. And so I think sometimes when people meet me, they don't really know like the kind of thoughts and things that I have underneath, because I just seem like this like goofy, like happy-go-lucky like person that's always just like being like ridiculously crazy and like probably dancing to some like absurd song on the radio. And I think that that's something that like goes unnoticed, that like I have these like deep kind of like feelings towards everything that happens in the world. Like if I see a video on like the fact that a sea turtle like potentially ingested something and then died, I literally can't sleep because I'm like thinking about these terrible things that are going on like in the world.
No, it's true.
And I think if everybody had like a little bit more of that, or had like a little bit more of like an appreciation for like the darkness that's happening, the world could like essentially get a little bit better. But it like truly just affects me. And I think that that's something that people don't really realize like on the surface, because I think a lot of people are walking around just like happy-go-lucky and like nothing is bothering them, but they have these like deep-seated like feelings that like things are like bad in the world.
No, it's true.
Not to get like dark.
No,
but
that's true. I saw this, it was a piece of art and it showed a bunch of people walking down the street and everybody had a smile on their face, but then there was a thought bubble above, and it was the concept of what everyone's really actually thinking.
Totally.
Like we're all going along saying that and everything's okay and trying to portray that everything is perfect, when in reality we're all dealing with some pretty heavy shit. Yeah. Whatever it may be.
And like I would honestly rather like take that on for somebody else than like watch them experience it, because I think that like I know I'm a strong person. Yeah. So that's something. Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears.
Okay.
Pick one.
All right, I hope it's a funny one. So sad. Now I'm sad. Oh, God. Why do you think girls like broy douchebags? Does anybody know, like, what it was a broder is?
What? Broder. Okay, describe a broder and what it is.
So the first time, I remember one of the first times we hung out, you were like, oh, he's a broder. And I was like, that's not a real term. No one knows what that is. It's not an Urban Dictionary. So I'm just not sure, like, where you came up with that. But it's like the dude that's, like, has the backwards visor on. But, like, on the visor, he has, like, the sunglasses that are backwards. And he's like, oh, like, hey, girl. Like, what's up? Like, and like then later on you find out that he actually likes dudes. So like that's like a broder with his like board shorts. They probably have like some sort of like rainbow on them, and he's just like walking around trying to get all the girls. So I think like the broy douchebags is because they have swag. Like they walk around and they have swagger, and at first you're like, oh, like, look at that guy. Like, he knows he could get it. So, like, I like that about you. And then you're like, oh, well, he's getting it from, like, 50 other chicks. Like, I don't really love that. So, I think that girls are attracted to that, like, superficial, like, at first, like, that swagger where they, like, give you the side eye. And, like, they know that, like, you're going to be attracted to their douchiness because that's just like what we're used to. Like, no offense to all the guys that are listening, but like it's factual.
You have literally talked with me about this for like 15 years.
Well, yeah, because you have some habits where you're really attracted to that guy. Like you love the guy that like exudes that confidence. That's like all about like his like how cool he is, and like that guy is like not finishing first. Like he's not. Like he's gonna meet these girls. That relationship's gonna last like 10 minutes because it's like, oh, you're so cool for like an hour, and then I just find that I like want to leave because my friends are more fun and they're not here, so I'm gonna go. But I just think that that's like what's put out there, and I think that girls are really afraid to like that nerdy guy. Like I've been telling you for 10 years, I'm like, I know, find a nerdy dude. No offense, Jordan, love you. You're super cool. You're not a nerd, but I've literally been saying like, find the nerdy guy that's like wants to be more about you than he is into himself, and like those douchey guys are all about being into themselves and they're not about you, and like.
Which is like an overcompensation for insecurity. It's like
not it.
Fake confidence compensating for insecurity.
Yeah, like
it's a whole mirage.
Yeah, I just can't. And I think that now I'm seeing a lot more of my friends go for like that nice guy that's like actually like for the future, because it's like, cool, we're like 35, so I'm gonna have to figure this out.
Yeah, it's like
gonna have to figure out who's legit
forever.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Cool. Yep. All right, last one.
Next one. Okay. When are you most yourself?
I know when you're most yourself. I can't wait to hear what you say.
Well, it starts the moment that I get off a plane in a foreign place that I've never been, in my sweatpants and my flip-flops and my backpack, and I've never been here, and I have to like figure out like where to go. And that's pretty much like when I would be most myself. And then I would find myself in like a room full of people that I've never met, that don't know me and have no pre-existing thoughts of who I am. And then I eventually just make myself into my wardrobe that I'm going to wear for the next like however long I'm there, which is usually some like bubbly pants and a tank top and flip-flops, and like just wandering around town knowing absolutely no one is my favorite place to be at all times. That's when I'm most myself, when I know absolutely no one.
So why do you think that makes you feel most yourself?
Oh God, I think for anybody that like has ever experienced like what it feels like to like get off of a plane in a foreign place where like nobody knows who you are, no one has like any preconceived notions of like what you're supposed to be in your day. You can just be who you are at all times, and you're meeting people that are being like entirely themselves just like that.
Yeah.
I think it's just such an important experience to have. And I honestly, there's no better feeling in the entire world to me than just like being in a foreign place where like nobody knows me and I know absolutely nobody and have no idea what's going on. Just have to like roll with it.
So it's like there's no perceived audience. Like when you're around people that you know, it's almost like there's an expectation. And as soon as you're in an area where you don't know anybody, it A, doesn't matter what they think.
100%.
B, they don't have any expectations. So whatever you are is perfect and good enough.
And like you also find like in those places that everyone else is being the exact same, and it's just like creates this like community of people where like just nobody gives a fuck like what is going on, and everybody can just like be real. And I think that that's something that like Buffalo maybe not so much, because Buffalo has like cool vibes, but I think like that's something that's just like missing like with people in general. Like everyone's like afraid to like be who they are. Or
why do you think?
I don't know. There's so many just like things that are going on in the world that make people feel like they have to like be a certain way or act a certain way to like be liked or just like fit in. And like conformity, social media is the actual devil. Like I know that it does like great things for like businesses, small businesses, spreading the word about like events or movements that are happening in the world, but literally like the worst thing that ever happened to like a girl's self-confidence, social media.
So what do you think, like, okay, so expand on that. So what do you think is a good side of social media versus what do you think is a dark side of social media?
So like I love social media to like promote a brand. Like literally you have been so successful in building an entire business based on like your message and like your brand. And I think that a lot of that had to do with like just an amazing like social media presence. And I think that other like amazing brands have that, but like the people that are just like travel bloggers, it's like, you're literally, what are you doing? You're literally getting paid to travel to these like places, making this seem like this is a legitimate thing people can do, because it's not.
It's not, and it sets an expectation for people that they think like, well, why can't I be doing that?
Yeah, and like also like, no offense to anybody here who does that, don't want to offend you, but like the people that post like 1,000 million things about their significant other, I'm sorry. No one cares about that. I wish that people would stop doing that.
So what do you think is like a healthy amount? Because like
I don't know. I just feel like when you're doing something like that, like with girls that like post like 13,000 selfies, it's like, what are you hiding? Like, where is your like unhappiness coming from? Like, what is in your life that's going on that like you don't want to show people? Because like, yes, you're beautiful and you're gorgeous and your body is stunning and you have these amazing photos, but like, why are you doing this? What are you overcompensating for? And I just think it creates this picture for like women or even men or just anybody that just doesn't feel like they can go out and do something like that like they're like lacking in something.
Yeah.
And I just think it creates like self-doubt. It creates doubt in your relationship if like you and your partner don't post all of your like lovey-dovey stuff on social media, or you're not a girl that's comfortable like taking all these selfies and posting them or taking videos of yourself, and like it makes people feel like they're lacking in something. And like I don't like that. Like the world was simpler before Facebook existed. Nobody can even doubt that. It just was.
Yeah. And also, like, you've said this so many times, like, whenever we're anywhere, you always comment, and you're so right, that can we be here if we didn't take a photo and no one knew it happened? Did it really happen?
Like, yeah, I would literally go on an entire vacation and take no photo. If it weren't for you being on trips with me, I would have 0 photos of the trip or myself, because it gets to a point where like I don't have anything to prove. Like I'm not here to like prove to somebody that like I did this or I went there or like I'm that cool. It's like, no, my friend and I are doing baller ass shit, and like I don't care if you know, because it's not about you. And like I feel like there needs to be more of that.
Yeah.
Because like I think that's lost. And
Yeah.
like I think I love social media for I promote myself on social media for like what I do, and I love small businesses that do it, but I think it gets to a point where it creates an unhealthy culture for like people who are insecure or have like a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Absolutely, because it's like if you like if you are in a group of people that you have creative friends that can help you along with this, you're so lucky. But what if you're a creative person but you don't have that outlet of people?
Right.
That makes you feel like in some way you're not able to do this, when that's not necessarily true.
Like I 100% think that like every friend needs a hype friend. Like,
yeah, you're my hype friend.
Every girl needs a hype girl. Like you have to have one, and I love that. But like I think that some people don't have that. They don't have that like culture. Like my friends are the best. Like I have the best fucking friends, and it's taken me however many years to like get to that point where like I'm blessed to not be a self-conscious person. I never have been. That's like probably one of the things you originally didn't really like about me.
But it's the thing that I was actually ironically drawn to.
And I think that like people are though, and it makes me sad that that's like happening. So I don't know.
If you could say one last thing to everybody, what would it be?
In the world right now, like just be easy. Just like be easy on yourself, be easy on your friends, be easy on your family, be easy on the world. Just like do your part to make it a better place. I think that like I normally feel more light than I do in the last like 5 or 6 months. I think that like people are being affected by what's happening right now, and it's like creating a heaviness, but like just be easy on yourself and like and others. And I think the world will, feel those effects.
Cheers. I love you the most.
Love you. Cheers to that.
So,
Pinkies out.
Pinkies out. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Between Two Palms. This has been an awesome experience for us to talk to people, hear what you have to say, hear your answers, and all the things that you think about the world. So if you think that you have a question you want to hear, carpe that DM. Let us know what you want to say. If you have someone that you think would be a really good fit for a guest, or you think you want to be a guest, carpe that DM and let us know.